In case that you're wondering what is this game doing in the model games, because it starts with the move e4, I just want to mention once again that what we have here is a reverse form of Sicilian, what we are studying. So if you want to understand better what we are doing, imagine that you have the black pieces with an extra tempo, and then you will be into this line that we have already studied with you when the knight jumps on d4 and after knight c6 white is trading on c6. So this is exactly the same thing that we are getting, but with the reverse colors and with the extra tempo. I just wanted to show you a typical idea that you can also exploit in your games. Here I'm facing the future Grandmaster Grigorov. After knight c3 he took on c3, and after d takes c3 he jumped with the knight on c6. To which I have started to set up my favorite setup with the bishops on c4 and on f4. And you know the setup from the theoretical part, and you know how strong it is. With an extra tempo it's even better. And also you probably already noticed that the queen stepped on c7 already, so there is no queen b6 obstructing move. There will be no need for us to play the move rook b1. Further on with the extra tempo we have some important ideas, already some tactical ideas working for us. In particular, bishop takes f7 check at the moment is a very strong threat, and if they take back with the king, there will be e6 discovered check. Check and discovered attack against the queen on c7. So black has to be careful, which he was. He played the move e6, and then queen e2 finishes the desired setup. This is something that you can also use as white if you want to play this way in the future games of yours. And Grigor played the move h6. Also a move that we have seen before. It's just like the move h3 that white plays in the similar setups. Now, the other idea, d5, to get rid of this weakness as quick as possible was on the cards as well, but wouldn't have given black safe equality, as after the capture and bishop g3, a possible way of development would be long castle. When they give a check, you just move away, and on h6 you jump with the knight on d2. This should be already a familiar maneuver for you in similar situations. The knight is going to the d6 square, and in your case with reverse colors that would be the d3 square. Then black took on g3 in one game, and after knight e5 and f4 he took on c4. So he managed to trade a lot of pieces, but still this knight is heading for the d6 square. Black has to be careful whenever he castles. However, the problem is that knight to e5 leads to further problems for the second player, as this pawn on h6 has moved already, and it's sort of a hook for the white pieces. White wants to attack after that with g4 and g5, and whenever he pushes that pawn, the opening of the h-file would be inevitable. At the same time, on the other side of the board, black cannot really create anything, yet his pawns are way too far, and it's no wonder that white actually finishes this game quite quickly. So g4 followed by g5, rook d1, queen d1. We keep the rook on the active h1 square on the open file, and if they ever capture, if they ever open files for our pieces, mate is coming. Just check, take on g7, then take on g5, and so on and so forth. For that reason, black tried to defend with the move queen to e7 and to hide his king behind and the opponent's pawn. So he did g6. Then came queen e1, and even though they're hiding for a moment there, it's not going to be like that forever. The threat is queen e5 followed by knight f6. Black had to weaken himself. Then the knight came back on e5. Then this knight is heading to the wonderful outpost on g5. Black sacrificed another pawn and just resigned after king c1, bishop c6, knight g5, and this check, as the pawn is getting promoted afterwards, and indeed there is nothing to play for. And this guy is hanging, and this one will be hanging too. So this is the end of the game, Tsitlin against Zhuravlev. Okay, so besides the move d5, we said that there is the move h6, to which I decided to castle short. Just for a change. Normally we were castling long, but castling short is also an idea, as well, we can eventually double the rooks on the d file anyway and start attacking there quickly. So our plan is typical and similar to what we have studied. The rooks are doubled on the d file. And if your opponent is not careful, if they become overambitious, they can get destroyed quickly. This is what happened in the game. Had he had gone for g5 followed by g4, we already know that very often we are ready to sacrifice the pawn on e5. Here, we are not even sacrificing it, but thanks to the extra tempo, we are creating a bind which the opponent cannot really break. So his rooks are going to remain passive, and behind this huge rook on d6 we can prepare a queenside attack with a3, b4, b4 directly. This pawn on g4, by the way, is also hanging. But Grigor became very ambitious and he opted for f5. Now this looks very strong because if I take it, my bishop on f4 is hanging, so this is one. Another thing is that he is threatening g5, and whenever I move the bishop it is getting trapped after f4, and it looks really scary. But that's actually a trap in which he is falling. He told me after the game that he saw the move rook d7, and he saw that after rook d7 and bishop e6 he thought actually that he can survive with the move knight b8. But the thing is that I can repeat the same idea again. I can take on d7 followed by e6, and then queen f4 leads to checkmate, as I will get the second queen with d8 queen afterwards. So therefore after bishop e6 he couldn't find anything better but to try to grab some pieces with the move g5, but of course this is not enough. For the queen he is getting only a rook and a bishop, and I even have a pawn, actually two pawns, so the rest of the game was very straightforward and very easy going. Queen is coming on e5, he took, check, and I took on c6, so this is game over. Basically he just wanted to make some more moves before he resigns, and this is where he has done that. Nothing to play for, and resignation. So the idea that I wanted to remember is that whenever you double the rooks, look for this moment where the opponent pushes the f-pawn to sacrifice on d7 and to regain the material with interest with bishop takes e6. And the other idea that I wanted to remember is the one with the bind. If the opponent is too slow, put something on d6, make sure that this pawn will not move anywhere, and all is going to be fine for you.